Okay, so welcome back. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do an example of rounding. Okay, so in this example, we're going to take this number and we're going to round it to different place values. So first, let's round it to the nearest tenths place, the nearest tens. Okay, now notice something here. There's no decimal part. So we don't have to worry about the decimal part in this case. Okay, so let's round it to the nearest tens place. So that's where we're going to round. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the digit to the right and see what category or which case it falls into. So this is in the upper case, the case number 2, which means it's 5 or higher, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So 5 or higher. And so then what does that mean? Well, if this is 5 or higher, which it is, so it's greater than or equal to 5, which means we're going to add 1 to this digit. So all the other digits stay the same. 8 is going to become 9, and then what we're going to do is everything between the rounding place and decimal becomes 0. And then everything on the left of the decimal place, or excuse me, the right of the decimal place just gets dropped, but there's nothing there to begin with, so we don't have to worry about that. So, to round 96,187 to the nearest tens, it's this. Okay? Now what if we wanted to round to the nearest 100? So now what we're going to do is we're going to now focus on the hundreds place. So now that's where we want to round. So we're going to look at the digit to the right. And so this is greater than or equal to 5. So that means we're going to add 1 to this number. So let's do that. So again, the 96 stays the same. The 1 becomes a 2. And then again, all the digits between this place value and the decimal point become zeros. And so that's the answer. So to round 96,187 to the nearest 100 is 96,200. Okay. Okay, now let's do this thousands. So now we want to round to the nearest 1,000. So again, we're going to look at the digit immediately to the right. Now in this case, this is less than or equal to 4. So that means we're not going to do anything to this one. We're going to leave it the same. We're going to leave it unchanged. So this is going to become 96. And then everything between this number and the decimal point becomes zeros. And so to round this number to the nearest 1,000 would be 96,000. And finally, if we want to round to the nearest 10,000, now we're going to focus on the digit in the 10,000ths place. And then we're going to look at the digit to the right. And this is greater than or equal to 5. So that means we're going to add 1 to this digit. So it becomes a 10. The 6, again, all the digits between the 9 and the decimal point become zeros. And so, if we round to the nearest 10,000, the answer is 100,000. And that's it. So that's how you round whole numbers. Okay? Now, let's do an example where there's some decimal points involved. So what if we add some decimal points? How is that going to affect how we round? Well, we just have to either we're going to drop them or we don't. It just depends. So let's look at this example. So let's say we have this number. And we want to round this number to the nearest hundredth place. So that's going to be this one right here. So we want to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, now, so we're going to look at the digit to the right. And in this case, it is greater than or equal to 5. Which means we're going to add 1 to the 9. Which means that this is going to become 0 because we're going to then add 1 to the 8 as well because of the place value. So that means this is going to become 46.90, and then everything to the right of the 9 is dropped because it's already to the right of the decimal point. Okay, so this would be rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, we would keep the 0. We would not drop this 0 because that's what we're rounding to. Okay, make sure you don't do that. That's going to be important for accuracy and precision later. Okay, this is very important. Okay. Okay, so let's do another example. Let's say we have an application type problem. Let's say in this example, we want to round in today's day and age of electronic money or finance is done electronically, digital, right? So let's say we want to round this number to the nearest dollar. Well, that means if we want to round to the nearest dollar, we're going to focus on this one, right? So that's where we're rounding. We want to round to the nearest dollar. So that means we're going to look at the 4, and this is what? Less than or equal to 4. Then that means we're going to leave this unchanged. So the nearest dollar means it's going to be $293. And then everything to the right of the decimal point gets dropped. And that's our answer. That's our approximation by rounding. Now what if I have this number? What if I have 71.8986? And I want to round this to the nearest penny or the nearest cent. Well, that means I want to round to that place value. So that means I'm going to look at this And since this is greater than or equal to 5, I'm going to add 1 to the 9, which is going to bring me up to 71.90. And then everything to the right of the 9, in this case, gets dropped because we're already to the left of the the right of the decimal point. And so this, can't forget our units, this would be the answer rounded to the nearest cent. And that's it. So that's some examples of how we would round numbers to different place values, whether it's a whole number or whether it's a number that involves decimals. Until next time, have a great day.